Alright, so all I've done was hook up the low and high side gauges, and on these gauges with the vehicle off, I see about an 85 on the low, maybe right under 100 on high. So now we're going to start it up. Alright, so that does need to look like enough, it's not enough to cut the compressor on, it's the same reading. So it's low on Freon, and it has air in the system. So it needs a evacuation and a recharge. So I'm going to test the temperature before we start and after with the thermometer. Alright, so we have everything as low as it will go, and it's blowing pretty warm. Pretty much ambient temperature under this tree right now. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and evacuate the system and see. Oh, it's holding pressure. There's something in it that's holding, but we're still gonna test it, make sure it's holding pressure, then we'll recharge it. And now it's becoming ambient pressure, which is 0. Whatever my pressure outside, that's the 0 for these gauges, all right? So like I was saying, every car is gonna have a little sticker on it that tells you how much Freon it takes and what type of oil. So 709 grams or 1.56 pounds. 13 ounces, 510 grams. So this would be about 3/4 of the system. One of these are 340 grams. So 510 and 340, that would be pretty much 8 something. So literally this would be all you would need. But if we were just using these, we would need 2 of them, 2 and a third, a little bit of a third. So you can just do your math and figure out how much you need that way. Close your lines or your gauges before you do anything. Until you get good at it, just really make sure you know what you're doing when you open and close the gauges. Because once you put the vacuum on it, if you open it up at the wrong time, you'll let air get in the system and you have to start all the way back over. So right now, gauges are closed and we're a little bit above atmospheric pressure. So these have a R12 and a R134 joint on them. I want to say this was on top. Yeah. Always with these connections, make sure they're pretty tight. Pretty tight. All right. So with these, make sure you always got oil in them when you burn them up. And at this point, you can turn it on. So the lines are closed. The vacuum is pulled a vacuum on this line. You can feel it vibrating. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna keep high side closed, open low side. Now we are pulling a vacuum. We're pulling all the air, all the Freon, all the debris, everything out of the system. And we're gonna try and get it below 30. And I think that's mercury, where, it's 30 pounds of vacuum. Usually you want to do this for about 10 minutes. It might not take 10 minutes for it to get down to 30, but you want to pull that 30 pressure vacuum as long as you kind of can. In the real shops with the Robinairs, they be doing them for maybe 10, 20, 30, an hour on the vacuum. All right, so sometimes you want to tap your gauges and make sure they're not sticking. And this one is getting very close to the bottom. Oh, good. I'm hoping you heard that tone change. There will be a slight tone change of the vacuum when it's maxed out its vacuum. It's been on for maybe about 4 or 5 minutes now. I'm gonna leave it on for about another 4 or 5 minutes. Or unless I hear that tone change, then it's no use of going any longer. It's maxed out. All right, so it's been long enough for me. Sometimes they don't get below 30. That's fine. You want to just get close to 30. If you're getting only 20, that's suspect. That's suspect. I would check the gauges. I would check with some other gauges to confirm. If you're really only getting 20, it might be the pump. Or you could have a slight leak in the system. Or if you get down to 30 and you do what you're supposed to do next, which is close the system before you cut off your pump. Because if you cut the pump off, then air is going to shoot up in the system. So you close everything off. Boom. Make sure that's tight. That's tight. Now we can shut this off. All right, we're going to set a timer at 9:51. And this should hold right where it's at the entire time, touching the 30. But really it's in between the 30. Make sure when you're looking at it, you're looking right above it. So we're right on 30. All right, we waited about 5 minutes. She's holding. So now I'm gonna use this one since it has all the good synthetic stuff, and we'll use this on our low side. Get you one of the brass adapters. It screws onto the cans and the small cans. And you're gonna hook this to your yellow feed line. Oh, it's gonna be a feed line now. Make sure it's tight. All right, critical thing here. So when you're doing it, you're gonna open up this line. These lines are closed. So when you open this line, it's just gonna energize, or not energize, it's just gonna pressurize this line, but there's air already in this line. So we're gonna pressurize the line. Boom. And all the way down. Bring it back a little bit. All right, so then you're gonna bleed the line, because if you open up your low pressure line, you're gonna get air in with your brand new Freon, which is exactly why we put it on vacuum. And now we have a negative vacuum on the system, which is perfect for inputting the Freon. Long story short, bleed the line. And once you bleed it, don't do that so the oil don't get on the car. But you'll start seeing Freon come up and the air will bleed out. So now we got Freon. Hang that up. Just let that sit. We'll turn it upside down in a second. You're gonna open up your low side. All right. It's taking, and you can see it taking. And you can hear it. Turn your line upside down. Boom. This one wasn't completely full. He used some of it before. But it's not gonna take everything with just this one can. I mean, it's not gonna take everything until you crank it up. But the compressor won't turn on without there being enough pressure in the system. So it'll get to a point and then it'll kind of stop taking it. But you can always watch it and know. All right, now so I'm shaking it, and I'm not getting any more to come out, pretty much. So leave that open, close this off. You actually can leave it open as you crank the car up, but it's better to be able to monitor everything. So we crank it up, nothing changed, it was doing the exact same thing. Next thing you want to do is make sure the compressor clutch is able to spin freely. Alright, so I wasn't getting anything changing when I cranked it up. I spun the compressor by hand, it spun with resistance. That doesn't say the compressor is bad. So I then chased the wires from the compressor. There's the hookup right there. There it is. Anyway, this is the same wire here. I tested the wire. It's not getting power. Okay, not getting power. Check the fuse. So this fuse should have popped, but it didn't. And it caused it to melt. Keep you some of these in your truck, car, whatever. These, the mini ones, the maxi ones, keep them. We're gonna put this back in, but first let's inspect if it's damaged. Damage to the socket or the fuse holder. Not bad. It got hot, but it melted more of the plastic on the fuse than the actual holder. So our compressor shit took on when we put this in. Compressor kicked on. Now we see our gauges doing what we're supposed to. So now we're going to open up our gauges again. Oh, I guess I already opened. Nope. Right. Oh, they're already open. But she isn't taking Freon. Okay, that didn't work because I didn't have the line pressurized, so I need to close this off, reopen my valve. When I was doing my diagnosis, I closed this off. Gotta bleed again. Take it away from the car so don't put oil everywhere. Valve. I had the bottle right up, so there it is. Alright, so now we can open up the line, get more juice in there. So boom, there you see it. Now we're getting at 200. Ambient air temperature right now is about 75 degrees in the shade. So as you can see, now the compressor is starting to compress. And we're waiting for the fans to fans are turning on. When the fans turn on, it's going to bring the pressures down, just like it's doing. Don't worry about that 50 you see. You got to know, okay, I had nothing in this system. I got to at least put 700 grams in it, and I know this ain't 700 grams, so send it. Make sure you're doing all the calculations in your head so these gauges don't fool you. Yes, I'm getting close to 50. Yes, I was getting a little above 225, and yes, this gauge is starting to flutter. That's fine. I know how much I got in it. So, keep sending it home. All right, my bottle's getting cold. Keep going though. With all that juice. Alright, so now our gauge is pretty empty. So once it's empty, close your line. Let's take a look. So 510 grams, it was probably maybe about 450 in it. So we're at about, I'll say 2/3 full, close to 2/3. So now we're going to put another can in it, or maybe not a full can, but almost a can. Got our can in, valves open, we're going to bleed again. Beautiful. Purge. All right, open up. Yeah, man. So now we're flowing. And now we're doing that math in our head. Okay, I can fill my can. I know how much. I don't want to put the whole can in it. I haven't even went inside to see how cold it is, but I don't care because my gauge is what matters. So now I'm getting to about 215. I'm gonna hold off there. A little how I'm out low side, but I'm gonna let it cycle. Just let it run. I'm gonna check my temperature on the inside. I may have to come down. Up, see? It's coming on down now that we're cycling. So let's go inside. See how it feels. Should be cold. It's getting colder. It should be cooler than this. Oh, it's getting down there. You gotta let it cycle sometimes. Sometimes you gotta pick the RPMs up. But be a little patient and let the thing do its thing. I don't want to run it too much longer. You need the gas. But I did end up using that last can, so I'm gonna leave that.